Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for joining us today. My name is Kalpesh Patel. I'm super excited to be hosting tonight's training on nuts and bolts of network marketing, an industry that I fell in love with 27 years ago, and it's just been the best ride of my life forever. I wish I'd found it sooner, to be honest. I was 26 when I found it, and I was sitting there going, oh my goodness, I think I've just wasted about 10 years of my life in other kinds of businesses. My background is I'm an entrepreneur. That's all I've ever done from the age of 11 onwards. I started my first hustle at school. I went on to get into retail. I then got into wholesale. I got into distribution, did many different businesses in my youth, did very well for myself. Eventually lost it all through a tragedy of life. And, somebody one day invited me to a network marketing opportunity meeting, and it changed my life forever. And that's why I love this so much, because I've witnessed in the last 27 years, literally hundreds of thousands of lives change. And it's magical what happens when you understand this industry. And so the purpose of the trainings that we do here on Tuesday nights is to deepen your understanding and your passion of the industry you are in, because you've already made a choice to be in it. It might as well be something that you understand if you're going to do this and do it to a better level than something that just is a part of, something on the side, like a side dish, right? What if this could become the main dish? However many hours you put into it, it could be a part-time gig, but it can be a main time occupation mentally, right? So mentally, you want to be 100%, 24/7. What do I mean by that? I mean, be a professional, like really get it at a deep level, what you have the ability to do here. You have the ability, as if you've got a magic wand, to transform anybody's life you choose to transform. Think about that for a second. You can literally have a conversation with an absolute stranger. And if you've got the skills under your belt to build some rapport, to connect with that human being, to find their pain, give them a solution, hold their hand, and walk them through the process of going from where they are to where they want to be, what better profession could there possibly be on the planet than that gift right there? Helping people go from wherever they are to where they want to be, and solving their challenges and problems along the way with the way that they think, the way that they behave, the way that they speak, the way that they carry themselves, and the way that they earn. And let's face it, earning is one of the biggest focuses of the majority of the planet. We study for it, we work hard for it, we give up personal time for it, we sacrifice family time, holiday time, travel time. We make so many sacrifices for what? To earn. Doesn't it make sense to be more efficient in the way that you earn? And guess what? This is one of the most efficient ways that I found. And so I want to pass that on to as many as I can. Understand that's the power you have in your hands. And it starts with giving the gift to yourself. Now, is it easy? No. Is it simple? Very. It's so simple. It really gets to me that more people don't get the simplicity of it, because they give up too early because it's not easy. Imagine that. And when I say it's not easy, it's because there's a journey to be had. Each and every one of us has to go through a journey of learning, of growth, a mental journey of understanding ourselves, understanding others, and making the whole thing work to our advantage, right? That's the journey of network marketing. Any professional will tell you that it's a mental journey first, all right? That's more powerful than anything else, because if you grow through this, then you can become unstoppable in it. But if you don't grow, then you'll always be a promoter, all right? And promoting is where it starts. But for a lot of people, it also ends there. And if all you're ever doing is promoting to make a buck here or a buck there, you'll always be limited to the potential of this industry, because you misunderstood it, because you went for the small change. You tried to grab the loose change around the edges of the table rather than jumping into the middle of the table and owning it all. All right. So there are unspoken rules, there are dynamics that work, there are nuances, there are soft skills, there are hard skills. There's so many different components to all of this. And I'm saying each and every one of you can own all of that. What would that be like? What if people came into your path and you were so clear and so congruent that they couldn't help but want to be on your path with you? Would that help? If you're hesitating, if you're second guessing yourself, if you're umming and ahhing, if you're unsure, guess what? Less people will want to join you on the path. Do you get it? People follow people who have clarity. People follow people who have knowledge. People follow people that can add value. People follow people when they know that that person that they want to follow or are following can take them to a better place. All of those things fall into place when you can take yourself to a better place. The clearer you are, the more congruent you are, the more demonstrative you are of your talk. It's not just about talking a good talk, it's about demonstrating it, being consistent, being true to your word, being real. As you start putting all of these things in place, guess what? It's inevitable. It's inevitable that the next person you speak to is way more likely to join you on your path than the last one. It's inevitable. It's a matter of time. So when you start out, maybe 1 in 20 or 1 in 30 is willing to follow you. Don't take that personally from a perspective of belittling yourself. Take it personally from a perspective of, okay, who do I need to become to improve that number? There's nothing you can do about the number other than improve yourself and your skills and your abilities to improve the number. Do you get that? It's not about the other people. It's not about the 29 people that rejected your presence in their path. It's about how can the next batch be more efficient. So if your average batting score is 1 in 30, and that's pretty disastrous, by the way, and some people start there. But if that's where you start, imagine if you can turn that to 1 in 29 and then 1 in 28 and 1 in 27 as an average. And then eventually 1 in 20 says yes. And then you get a little bit better, you improve a little bit more, and then it's 1 in 10. And then it's 1 in 5. Can you imagine what it would be like to be that powerful in your ability to connect and make a difference? If 1 in 5 invited you into their life and to guide them on a better path, you wouldn't know what to do with yourself. You would not have enough hours in the day to think even about failing, to think about struggle, to think about difficulty. You wouldn't have time to think about any of those things because you'd be too busy helping and supporting the 1 in 5 that says, yes, I love it. Come on, let's go. Let's do this. So the name of the game is improving the numbers so the numbers work for you. Initially, you work for the numbers. Eventually, the numbers work for you. It is a numbers game. People don't understand that phrase. When they hear it's a numbers game, a lot of people think it means that you don't care, that you're just measuring numbers. Nothing to do with that. That's just another exit. It's another excuse that people use to not do it. When I say it's a numbers game, I mean you can improve the numbers. You see that? When you can improve the numbers, that's like alchemy. That's magic. That puts the power in your hands. So think about that for a second. Think about that word, influence. Each and every one of us is influenced by the world already, whether we like it or not. It's the nature of being human. We are influenced by every interaction and every experience that we have from the minute we are born, even before actually, scientists have proven over and over again that from conception we are influenced. All right? We feel the vibration of our mothers, the frequency of our mothers. If they're going through stress, we feel it. If they're going through trauma, we feel it. If they're going through tough times, we feel all of that. Even when we're just a cell, and then we're 2 cells, and then we're 4 cells, and then we're 8 cells. And then we pop out, and then we're a lot of cells, or a bundle of possibility with a bundle of mess already embedded in us. And then the journey begins of undoing that mess. But most people are picking up more mess than they're undoing. I'm going to suggest that all of us can become phenomenal professional network marketers with massive influence in every interaction and conversation when we can clean up our own mess. Can you see how that works? The less mess you're dealing with, the easier it is for you to help other people clean up their mess. If you are in a constant state of mess, then it's much more work for you to help other people clean up their mess. I'm not saying you can't. Everyone can help everyone be better. But to what extent? Just how influential are you when you show up? When you show up in somebody's life, is your underlying commitment to add value and make a difference, or to judge and write off? These are really powerful fundamentals. And that's what we train ourselves on, right? And it's a daily practice. The more you can shift your consciousness to making a difference, to contribution, to understanding, then the more influence you have. Because the other human being, the recipient of your conversation, of your communication in that journey, once they have an understanding of who you are, what your commitment is, then you're going to reach more of them. Do you see that? So be the kind of person that has that as your backdrop. How can you be better for yourself and be better for the world? Understanding other people is such a huge, huge gift. If you can work on it, and you work on it by understanding yourself. When you understand yourself, you understand everything and everybody. That's all this is about. If you can understand your work, yourself, if you can understand your weaknesses and your strengths, your strong traits and your weaker traits, if you can understand what works and how you can bring out better of yourself and what doesn't, and how you can work on that stuff. So it's all about understanding, right? The more understanding you have of self, the more understanding you have of all, of everything else. The more you understand what goes on the inside, the better the outside works for you. So if you want to improve your numbers, improve yourself. This isn't just blind guidance. This is time tested over thousands of years. This stuff's been written about 5,000 years ago by the gurus of the world, who back then just sat in meditation. There wasn't much to do back then. They weren't into construction and farming and, doing all of the stuff that we do today, building electricity lines and telecom lines and internet connections. And there was none of that going on back then. Can you imagine 5,000 years ago, there's not much to do. You wake up at the crack of dawn. If you're hungry, you eat. If you're not hungry, you don't eat. And then you sat and you thought, and you meditated, or you focused on yourself. You tried to work it out. You looked up at the sky and looked at the stars and looked at the moon and looked at the sun. That's all people did for a long while. And during that time, they captured some phenomenal wisdom. Phenomenal wisdom. My recommendation always, study this stuff. You'll be blown away. You don't need to understand all of it, but if you understand even a tiny percentage of it, then you'll understand yourself better. The sages and the gurus of the past have set such a phenomenal foundation for us that if we want to, we have access to all of it. But if you're lazy and you want to take a shortcut, you probably will miss all of that. And you'll learn the surface stuff. The surface stuff will get you so far, but it has its limitations. So I hope I'm kind of making my point of the power of self-awareness and personal development is. I could not labor enough on this subject. For me, it's everything. And then network marketing is a platform that empowers growth and rewards it monetarily more than and more efficiently than and better than any other system that I've been witness to in all of my years on the planet. And I'm very open, and I've always kept my mind open, and I've always looked at everything that's available in the world. And this industry is the only one that I have seen that outperforms every other industry. Not by a little bit, like by millions of miles, way ahead of its time. Most people do not understand it, cannot fathom it, cannot get their head around the fact that together we are much more than we are individually. That unity has power inside of it. Divided, we fall. Network marketing, if people got it, can you imagine if 90% did network marketing and 10% didn't get it? How phenomenal this world would be. We've got a long way to go, guys and girls. It's more like the other way around. I don't even think we're anywhere close to 10% of people on the planet getting it, right? So for me, that's opportunity. We're at the forefront, if you like, of maybe a 200, 300, 400 year journey. In my head, at some point, humanity will evolve. It's inevitable. And it might take another 100, 200, 300, 400, maybe even 500 years. We are a little bit slower than we like to think, human beings. The concept of evolution has taken thousands of years and we're still nowhere near it, right? But I do like to think that there's slow progress, all right? I used to think we could transform the planet in my lifetime. Life has taught me that's not how it works. And there are plenty of people like me in previous generations that thought the same way. And yes, you can make huge leaps and bounds forward. However, humanity evolving is a long way off, but we've got to keep that conversation up and alive. And network marketing keeps that conversation alive better than any other space, in my experience. Why? Because it physically empowers us to practice and the preach. So you can't just preach, but when you preach and you actually preach and teach and walk that stuff, practice it, you witness transformation. Network marketers at the cutting edge are often the biggest contributors to the world. Massively. Transforming lives by the millions collectively, by the millions. So it's very exciting for me. I'm like, wow, you know what? We are all holding a conversation of such a high level, and we're willing to take the arrows, we're willing to take the bullets, we're willing to be judged, we're willing to be laughed at, we're willing to be ridiculed, we're willing to be rejected, if there is such a thing. We're willing to go through all of that because we've witnessed something, whether it's firsthand or third party, but we've witnessed something and we know there's something here. But then don't be afraid to express that in the world. You cannot tiptoe your way to success in network marketing. Write that down. You cannot tiptoe your way to success in network marketing. You can't hide behind the shadows and hope it all works out. Only the bold are favored in network marketing. And when you're bold, yes, you've got to be willing to take a few arrows. You've got to be willing to take a few hits. But guess what? Now people know who you are. They know you've got clarity. They know where your focus is. They know what you stand for. Now they know that when you say something, you mean business. You're unafraid. You're courageous. You're bold. You're strong. You're solid. You're focused. You mean it when you say you're going somewhere. Do you see? Your word has power because you believe in yourself and your ability. You follow through on your commitments with actions, even when you don't feel like it, even when you're scared, even when you're resisting, even when you're worried or concerned or struggling or going through hard times, even when life is throwing some axes at you. But you continue anyway. Then people say, wow, you know what? That Jeremiah, relentless. I'm in. He's been saying this for a long time. I didn't pay much attention, but he doesn't care. He goes anyway. What have I been doing with my life? the last 5 years he's been telling me about network marketing, and I've been ignoring him. What value have I added to the planet? How have I made the world a better place? What impact have I had? He's traveling up and down the country. He's traveling the world. He's meeting people. He's moving. He's shaking. What have I been doing? Sweet, nothing. It's inevitable. Can you see that? You decide how the story turns out. It's a matter of time, just a matter of time before somebody says, so when Sue first came to me and told me about this, I ignored her. I laughed at her. I thought she was crazy. But she stayed anyway. And a year passes by, and Sue's reached the lives of hundreds of people. And you can go back and say, oh, by the way, how many people's lives have you touched in the last 2 years? And then Sue reaches thousands of people over a couple of years more. And that previous life that laughed, joked, ridiculed, judged, is still doing the same thing. 3 years have passed, 4 years have passed, 5 years have passed. Tens of thousands of lives transformed. Tell me, how's your last 5 years been since we had that first conversation? At some point, you might just wake that human being up. At some point, right? Anything's possible. So listen, I believe in you. I believe you have the potential to do so much more than you've been doing the last 5 years. Come, join me. Let's do something great together. Can you see how irresistible the argument becomes when you are consistent, when you are true to your word, when you're accountable? People know that you are steady, you're solid, you're the lighthouse. Whatever happens, storms come, waves crash, ships sink around you, but you're still there. Blink, 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 just there, solid, accountable. The next ship that comes knows exactly where you are, and that can count on you for its position. How about that? Reference point. Become the reference point. Become people's North Star. Become the person that becomes the go-to person for when they eventually wake up and think network marketing. When they finally get it and think leverage. Leverage of people, leverage of money, leverage of ideas. When they eventually wake up, be the one that's ready to capture the conversation. And that happens when you're consistent with the conversation along the way. Don't piss people off. Don't become annoying. Don't wind them up. Don't judge them because they've judged you. That's the worst thing you can do, because then you let yourself down, right? Hold yourself to a higher standard. Just because they judge you, it would be very easy to judge them, right? It's not easy, this stuff. It's simple, right? It's not easy. It takes a lot of practice. When somebody judges you and your knee-jerk reaction, your human mechanism has you want to smack them one, and then you press pause, take a deep breath, and forgive them. And the quicker you can do that, you're now on higher ground. Can you see that? Then the next time they call you a name or throw something in your direction or lie about you or make up stories, less pain. You become more resilient. The arrows start bouncing off. Initially, the arrows pierce you and they freaking hurt, right? You'll never forget those wounds. But eventually, your armor becomes so solid, the arrows bounce off. Literally, arrows bounce off. And your human nature will still want to get protective and still want to get territorial and still want to do what it does. The aggressive nature will come out and all of that stuff. Protective nature will come out. But press pause, take a deep breath, forgive them, and move on. I just say, bless them. That's how I deal with it. Find your way, find your words. I'd say, bless them. Bless them, right? Like, they've got no clue. Bless them. If only they knew. When they're ready. Bless them. Go back again in 6 months' time, a year's time, 3 months' time, depending on their temperature, or when the opportunity arises again, when the next interaction happens. But here's the point. Who you are is consistent. You're the lighthouse. So they can count on you to always be the opening in their life, to be the possibility for greatness in their life. That's who you want to become, right? Be consistent in that when they're ready, they can come back and have the conversation of empowerment, have the conversation of growth, have the conversation of transformation. Can you still hold the space for somebody that threw arrows at you? It's a measure, right? Can you still pick up the call from somebody that was really nasty to you verbally because of your career path? That's the measure. The answer's got to be yes, right? And wherever it's no, that's a growth opportunity. Okay. What else can you let go of? What can you release? I love the analogy. I use this one often. It's such a beautiful analogy. I first heard it from Wayne Dyer. And he said on one of his events, when you release an emotion, it's not the outside world that is to blame. So if somebody makes you angry, it's not that somebody's fault. They're not to blame. The anger was already inside of you. They just knew what button to press. Interesting philosophy, right? Turns everything on its head. If somebody makes you angry, have a look inside and work out what did that, the trigger. Interesting idea, right? What a concept. So what he then follows up with a great analogy is, if you cut a lemon in half and squeeze, what comes out? Lemon juice. You can't cut a lemon in half and expect orange juice to pour out. It's not how it works. So the work is done on the inside. So when somebody cuts you open, what pops out is what's already in there. So use that as an opportunity to recognize yourself rather than judging them, blaming them, and leaving the ball in their court. So hold on a second. That's an interesting reaction. Where did that come from? And see if you can try and work out more of yourself, right? It's a journey. This is a lifelong learning. It's forever. You'll never run out of this stuff. There's always something, somewhere, somehow that will cut you open, and something will pop out and just go, wow, okay. That's interesting, isn't it? It's not about blaming yourself either. Don't get caught up in that. This is not about blaming them or blaming you. It's not about judging them or judging you. It's about what can you learn from the experience and how can you be better the next time that cut happens so that your life becomes smoother for you. Because if it's not that person, it'll be somebody else, always. There's always going to be cuts that come out and stuff will pop out. Sadness, resentment, anger, judgment, whatever it is, stuff will pop out always. And network marketing is like putting your feet to the fire. It encourages the cuts to happen quickly and early. And if you're smart, you get to learn and grow really quickly at lightning speed. Network marketing can give you 10, 20 years worth of learning in 1 or 2 years. It's a human development program. Imagine that. Imagine you can give yourself a 10, 20 year advantage in self-awareness because you got into network marketing. That alone has got to be worth joining the industry, hasn't it? Because every other course that you pay for to learn about yourself is a temporary fix and very theoretical. Somebody will tell you something on stage that sounds really fancy and great, and you get it at the moment and you get it at the point. But the minute you go back into your life, it's a concept and an idea that dies with the event. But network marketing, you're in it. every day, living it, experiencing it. Like everything I'm sharing right now, guess what? The next 7 days, you're going to see all of this happening in your world. And you'll have an opportunity to go, okay, what can I learn from this? How can I grow from this? Great questions to ask yourself. Every time something doesn't go your way, every time something hurts, every time something creates a reaction of some kind, an upset or a downturn in feeling, in emotion, in mood, etc. What can I learn from this, and how can I improve from this? How can I grow from this? That's the training that you're giving yourself as often as possible. What can I learn from this? How can I grow from this? How is this assisting my journey going forward? We're all dying, right? Each and every one of us is dying. Every day we're dying. That's the nature of living. Living equals death. That's a given. Once we know that living equals death, now what? It's all experiential, everything. What do we experience? How do we experience it? How can we improve the experience? Really, really simple, right? In network marketing, if you understand nothing's personal, then everything is interactive. Every interaction is sharpening your sword. It's grinding your axe. Every interaction is making you a better person for the next interaction. All of it's brilliant preparation. The reason network marketing is better than any other field in my experience is because it exposes you to more types of people than any other industry in the world. Do you get it? Network marketing exposes you by the nature of the beast to as many people as you want. There's no limit to how many people you're exposed to in this industry. You choose your numbers. Is it 1 a day? 1 a week? 1 a month? 5 a day? 10 a day? 20 a day? How many people are you able to expose yourself to, and how quickly? And I bet you that if we did a study on network marketers that are successful, I bet that they've exposed themselves to more human beings. There's a direct correlation between people that have exposed themselves to more human beings being more successful compared to the people that have exposed themselves to less human beings, hiding out behind a facade. Like those that know me know I'll speak to everyone all the time. I can't help myself. If I get somebody's connection with the eyes, I'll just say, hi, how you doing? Doesn't have to go anywhere. Some of you might have this misconception that if I connect with somebody, then I have to pitch them. No, I don't. If it feels natural, or if I'm in the mood of playing, then I will. If it doesn't, then I'll just say hi and I'll be happy with that. Hi, how you doing? How's your day been? Great. Wonderful. Enjoy the rest of it. I've already made the world a better place just with that interaction right there. But if I'm in the mood, so tell me about you. What do you do? How long have you been doing this? What else have you got planned? Can I help? Can you see that? How many times a day do you do that? Here's what's really interesting. If you're honest with yourself and then you log into your back office, the two will correlate. Isn't that interesting? And that's why network marketing is the best, because it gives you a direct measure of your growth, of your activity. It's a direct measure. It's right there. You can't lie. You just log in. If you ever want to know how well you're doing in terms of your ability to interact with others as often as possible and improving the level of interaction, go log in. The numbers are right there. Is that making sense? The numbers don't lie. And as I said right at the beginning, and I'll remind you all again right now, the name of the game is improve your numbers. Numbers don't lie. Improve your numbers. Just improve them. It's all you got to do. Every time you see a number increase, congratulate yourself, pat yourself on the back. An extra person on your front line, massive, massive, massive congratulations. Celebrate. You're an absolute rock star. The average person sponsors 3 people into their business. That's an industry average, abysmal. But it's phenomenal to know that if you did 4, you're already ahead of most of the people in the entire industry on the planet. How does that feel now? Do you see that? The numbers are there for you to know where you're at and to know when to celebrate and how much to celebrate. Celebrate when you get your first person in. Great job. Celebrate when you get the second one. Fantastic. When you get your third, know that you can stand toe to toe pretty much with any other networker on the planet and know that you're as average as they are. Comfortable. Well done. But if you do 4, boom, you're a cut above the rest already. 5, are you kidding me? You're on your way. If you got 10 people directly sponsored in industry terms, you're already rock star material. Did you get that? The next part of growth is, okay, I'm comfortable now sharing, influencing, sponsoring. Then comes the leadership role. How many of those 10 have duplicated? Check the numbers. How many of those 10 have got their 3? Like, are they all average? Even if you got 10 people and got them to average, that's 30 people on your second level. Can you see? And you might just find 1 that's another rock star. You might find 2 that get their 10 each. Goodness. Imagine that. Now you've duplicated yourself a couple of times, maybe 3 times. If you duplicate yourself 3 times, that's 30 already there. If you don't duplicate yourself 3 times, you might just get 10 to average, still 30. But you want to duplicate yourself. If you duplicate yourself 3 times, that's 30. And the other 7 get 3 each, that's another 20. You've now got 50 people on your front line. The odds increase again of finding a couple of golden nuggets on your second level. Might find 3 or 4 golden nuggets on your second level. Maybe 5. Do you see? This is how network marketing works. Many years ago, I read that you can be influential massively on the first 4 levels of your network. Your first 4 levels, you can have a huge, huge say on how many numbers are on those 4 levels. Your direct line, obviously, only you have a say on your direct first level. But depending on how great you are at leading, teaching, training, duplicating, you can have a say on the number of people on your second level, your third level, and even your 4th level. But beyond that, you lose control of your organization. You lose influence of your organization. But here's what you don't lose, is your ability to then become a talent spotter. You might spot talent on your 5th level, on your 10th level, on your 30th level, doesn't matter. When you've laid down solid level 1, 2, 3, and 4, the numbers are now in your favor. You almost can't stop what you've created. Then the numbers get bigger. It's impossible for you to work with 100 people directly, one-on-one. But if you've got a handful of leaders and you work together, you can train all of them fantastically. Make sense? So it's called building through people, talent spotting, finding the one that's got the hunger, the desire, the fire to make something happen. You're always looking for that, whatever level they come in on. The minute you find them, lock into them, plug them into your system, bring them home. Anyway, that's kind of what I wanted to share today. So I'm going to go to George, who always graces us with his presence all the way from down under. Hey, how you doing, buddy?
Morning, Calvish. How are you going, my friend?
Good morning. Very well, thank you. Yourself?
Excellent, thank you. I've worked out how to actually start the session while I'm still in bed and catch up and get out of bed halfway through.
Love it. Mastering participation.
And man, how good is that section on duplicate yourself to find the rock star? And like, I mean, I've been seriously challenged of how well the previous function came together and where we are with that mentally. And again, it's just, but still talking to people about the joy that I have found in this industry and the joy that I've had from the recent success and where we're going with this one as well. And like, it's still amazing. And again, I haven't had a great way of conversion from the previous business, but like, again, there's still so many more people out there. And it doesn't take that many numbers once it starts working. But it is such an awesome numbers game. But like, again, thank you very much for the inspiration. I love the top up that you pour into us, and seriously appreciate your influence in my life. Thank you, sir.
Yes, thank you, George. Just a quick one on that, because a lot of people, again, especially when you've left something, you're starting something fresh, have that collapse going on. The two have nothing to do with each other. Like, get that clear in your head. Demarcation, draw the line in the sand and move forward. You can lose days, you can lose weeks, or
I've lost months so far.
Even lose months, right? So at some point, line in the sand and move. The quicker you move, if there is anyone in your previous life that's remotely interested, they'll move quicker with you. You can't have that attachment. So learning to detach, move. Cool.
Thank you.
Thank you. Charlotte, how are we doing from sunny France?
We're doing very great, KP. Thanks so much. Wonderful presentation as always. Thank you so much. It's really been so touching, this particular Zoom, especially the power to understand. Yeah, I've been so much built this moment, and I must really say I started learning so much to understand others and to try to get the contacts, like to communicate that contact point with others ever since I started network marketing.
Wow.
Network marketing is actually introducing a lot of humanity into us. That's another thing I can really testify, and believe me, it's really the best place to belong. It has done so much and it's still doing so much. And we are so blessed, particularly myself, having somebody like you who keeps influencing us, educating us, and I'm so happy. And I really get so much to keep improving, especially when you say remain the lighthouse. Try to be the person they will always want to run back to. Collect the arrows, because in my last opportunity, I really faced a lot of challenges. People who misunderstood me, had other opinions, but I did everything to be myself. I can really imagine the power of that. Thank you so much for still striking on that. Thank you so much. And I want to say, those who are here, who are really new for the first time, guys, do not hesitate to grab this opportunity. If you were invited by me, you are at the right place. Make use of it, and really keep listening to our leaders, especially Kalpesh. It's really awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Charlotte. Beautiful. And yeah, just as you say, collect those arrows until you become invincible. Somebody that's done that really well. Sue, hey, how are we doing?
Hey, Kalpesh, very good, thank you. Thank you for an awesome session. I think I really needed to hear some of the stuff that you shared today. I'm not gonna lie, I feel like I'm like going through a bit of a grieving process, like this is like my second network marketing opportunity, and the first one was like bells and whistles and everything, like it was just so beautiful, right? And this is very different, and like I really enjoyed what I did over the last year, and now I'm doing something different. And, I loved my team, and like, it was just so buzzing, like that's how it was for me. Right. And it's very different here right now. Again, there's loads of opportunities out there. Loads of my team are doing different things. And, like I feel like just that thing, what you said, really just letting go and detaching from what was, and creating newly, so I'm really going through that experience right now, the whole kind of creating newly. And I'm not gonna lie, it's not easy. Like, I'm really going through it right now. So I'm just kind of dealing with that, really. But I am excited about the opportunity, and I know, knowing who I am, I know I'm gonna smash it up and make it happen.
Absolutely. Fantastic. And well done for identifying that. And, grieving is a perfect word. That's what happens. I often say it's like breaking up in a really awesome relationship. And then, suddenly it comes to an end, unbeknown to you, something was going on, whether you were being cheated on or whatever, something drastic. And you're like, oh my God. And you have to get over a process and emotion. Here's the thing about all of that is, number one is you can have that conversation with your team, the ones that matter to you. So it's not a bad thing to be that raw and open with them and let them know that that's what they mean to you and that's how you feel, right? So don't be afraid to have those honest and raw conversations with people, but also at the same time, remember that they're their own people and new blood is the lifeblood always. So never rely on them. If they want to come with you, if they want to be a part of your long-term, lifelong team, great. If they don't, that's their choice too. Like, you're going in the same direction you were going in anyway. You haven't changed. You're still the Lighthouse. You know who you are. You know where you're going, and you're going to go there with purpose. You're going to go there with everything you've got in you. And if they want to continue on that path with you, great. And if they don't, they might come back in the future. They might never come back. That's all part of that process, right? So welcome to phase 2 of network marketing. It's called baggage. The reason you had such a great experience the first time, you had no baggage. It's like first love. When you're 15, 16, 17, 18, whenever that happens, it's that innocent, doe-eyed, everything's perfect, everything smells of roses, nothing's ever going to go wrong. That's what you had the first time. Then the reality of, business, journey, life kicks in. You're just experiencing that. Now you're going to grow through that and become a better person as a result. So just know the outcome is in your favor. Cool.
Awesome. Thank you.
Brilliant. Sharon, did you survive your first love?
Sorry?
Did you survive your first love?
I did. I'm still here, aren't I?
Magic, isn't it?
It is. It's amazing. I'm going to say, I'm going to stand up for the women. I think women tend to get a little bit more attached to most things. And I'll be honest with you guys. This is me now being straight. For me, over the years, everything I've done, I've always succeeded in, because you start to believe and you start to see and you get excited. And, if you know who you are as a person, you're very true to yourself. And the people I've known for many years know how I work with people, how solid I am, how trustworthy I am, how real I am. And it's brilliant. And obviously along the way, you'll pick up a lot of jealousy. So you better get used to that, Sue, because that's part of life as well. I've dealt with that all my life, so I can deal with that all day long. But coming away from something that's not quite working, or coming away from something that's been completely let you down, coming away from something that's been out of your control. For me, I kind of like, it really affected me the first time, and I stepped away completely for about 3 years, and another time for about 4 years. And you think about it, that's a long time, a long time to be away from the industry. And I met somebody who I've known for 10 years called Kalpesh Patel. And I believe that he's mentored me personally to understand things that little bit different, not to take things personally. And I used to take things personally. I'd be like, oh my gosh, why are they saying that about me? I haven't done that. I've been accused of all sorts, guys, sleeping with CEOs and everything. Seriously. But now I'm learning to you're never gonna please everybody. You're never gonna convince everybody. That's just part of life. What I am doing though is I'm getting really excited again. And I'm waking up in the morning and going, I'm not kidding you guys. This is when I know then something's happening. Let me tell you, I'm a night hawk and I stay in bed, stay up till late at night. And this opportunity that we're particularly doing at the moment is not in America. So I'm like scratching my head going, my time zones are out. So my daughter came home at 3:30 last night. So I was awake till 3:30 this morning. So, but I still got up pretty early and I'm going, what is wrong with me? So when I'm getting up early, I was up at 8:30 on a Sunday morning. Let me tell you, Sunday mornings, I never get out of bed before 10, 8:30 this Sunday. And I'm going, what's going on? And I've got the jitters. I've got the excitement.
Wow.
And I believe that I think when people are struggling, and especially for people like Sue, strip it back and say to yourself, what's bigger? Their thoughts, their vision, their direction, or you? What do you want? Where are you going? And for me, it's about where I'm going and my vision, my goal. If somebody doesn't want to come, that's absolutely fine. I'm going to bless them on their merry way. But I'm going with or without you. And a lot of people will think, gosh, if you start running too fast, sometimes people can't catch you up. So you've got to try and be fair with people and give them the reasons why you're moving forward. And, we're looking for a serious home and we found one.
Absolutely.
We've absolutely found. And talking about putting a line in the sand.
Brilliant.
Today,
Wow.
my line went right across.
Wow.
And I've let everybody know. And I feel,
Wow.
relieved and now ready to rock and roll, guys.
Love it. Welcome back. Let's go.
Thank you, Carl.
Thank you. Thank you. Beautiful. Wow. Letting go. What a process. Jeremiah, how are you, champ?
Better than good and sometimes better than most. Thanks for asking, Kelps. And I greet the entire family of ours here. Beautiful family indeed. Once again, it's a great thing to be part of this nuts and bolts. I call this a power-packed platter where you find everything that you're looking for. And there's a lot of things, Kelps, that you have. This is a serious therapy for somebody who it's something that worth to be paid for, but we got it for free. There are people who are paying thousands just to hear those words happening in this way. It's more like it will be written down. So our generations will never forget such a thing. They will always know that there was somebody who really indeed, the book of law says, an iron sharpens another. You'll never know until somebody goes through your face and tell you as is, and you see yourself in that picture. Kelps, you spoke about quite a number of things. My mentor once said to me, in connection with the first love, so to say, he once said to me, my ex-mentor, and not in the network marketing because you are there. Now, he said to me, Jeremiah, if you go through challenges in this manner, don't hate anyone in life, but you must understand the really thing that you can do and it can work for you. The best revenge you can do is massive success. I loved that because that became as an incentive to inject me to keep going. And each time I come across things, I always understand one principle. It sounds arrogant, but it's true. Kelps, you will not be loved by everybody. You will not be loved by everybody in life. It's impossible. You are not money that even foolish people, they love it. You know, you need to understand your principles. I think I had a problem with my network. I'm right. Yes. So what I'm saying is that not everybody will clap hands at you. You're not money. Crazy people, even though they can maybe crazy 100%, when they see money, they become in their sense for a while, and they continue their craziness. So you just don't need to be arrogant about it, but understand that is what it is, and continue with your life without hating anyone, but do what you can do best. We have people that really, they can look at you with that eye and say, but why? But you know what? Life is carrying on, and we have to do what we can do best in life. So I really appreciate Kelps for or what you said and what Sue said, and quite a number of people actually, we've been custodians or what we call victims of our past. But even though our past has made us what we are not meant to be driven by it. We cannot live there. We've got life to live. We've got the now and the future. And who holds it is our maker. So let's keep on keeping on, because somebody's waiting for us to see us being winners, for we were born winners from the beginning. Even when we were born, we were just in a marathon and you became a winner. So I'm grateful to know, Kelps, that you are always there, and I'm praying that you stand strong every time to keep on sharpening, and iron sharpens another. It takes teamwork to make the dream work. See you at the top where you belong, as the bottom is overcrowded. Let's do this. Thank you.
Thank you. Always powerful, always energetic, lovely. Being Jeremiah, and really enjoying having you on this amazing journey with us. Beautifully shared. And yes, massive success is the best revenge ever. So Iola, hi, go ahead and unmute yourself. Hey,
I don't know how I can come and speak after that energetic. I just lost all my words.
Bring the heat, man. Bring it. Show them what you're made of.
I just want to, I want to speak on what Sue said. This is also, approximately 2 years for me into network marketing, into really doing stuff. I mean, I've been on platforms before, but passively, just, not sharing, not recruiting.
Yes.
And my first love was 2.5 years ago. And I really, I was taken off guard, and I saw my strengths when I was taken off guard, because I had to step up. I had to step up and explain and answer questions that was the most uncomfortable responses to give. This is what it is. This is what it's going to be now. Now we just have to make that decision and move on. It's like when you get into a car accident, are you not going to drive again? Are you just going to give up driving? When you get your first heartbreak, are you not going to love again? Are you just going to give up on love? So it's like traditional business. If you open a traditional business anyhow and it doesn't succeed the first time around, you didn't fail. You're now starting from experience. So when you move on and you move forward, you're now starting from a place of knowledge. You know certain things to look for now, certain things to look out for, points that you may not have seen before, right? So I just wanted to add that it was a first love for me also, but that love taught me a lot. It has strengthened me now to move forward and how to approach certain things now. Like I have a lot of successful business owners within my circle, and I have not introduced them before into what I would have done networking, but more in traditional business side. And now I have, because I have seen what I did not see before. Wow. I see it now. So now I can come to them and say, listen, this is X, Y, and Z. And this is why I did not bring X, Y, and Z before, because I'm now starting from a point of experience, right? So thank you again, Kalpesh, and thank you, everyone.
Absolutely perfectly captured. And there's no price on experience. So well done. No. Congratulations on becoming a better person, learning through the process and coming out bigger, stronger, and the best version of you so far. Well done. Love it.
Indeed. Good. Thank you so much.
That's what we're talking about. Paul, how you doing, champ?
Hey, Calbs. Flipping heck, mate. That was a bit deep today, wasn't it?
I went into one, didn't I?
I think there's been about 3 or 4 of them, and I thought, oh well, here he goes again. He's lost it. He's well gone into this one. I want to touch on what Sue and Sharon really pointed out was, that loss. I mean, you know my story. I mean, I have gone through grief over the last few years, losing my wife, and So I've had that grieving process really going on, and I used the experience of the last 12 months to try and use that as a way to keep going, keep motivated, keep positive. And by plugging in and being part of the journey, got through it better than I could have possibly ever hoped for. So I understand where Sue's coming from. And like Sharon, saying, do we move on? Where do we go? How do we do it? What do we do? Do we give up? Do we carry on? And I know what Sharon's story's been, because I've been closely associated to Sharon as my sponsor and Dan. So for me today really pointed to me of why perhaps the last 2 or 3 weeks I've been focused on me, because I had to go back to what was my why. Why am I doing this? What was all this about? And if I learned one thing about myself, was to acknowledge and own it. Am I the best networker in the world? No, I'm not. Am I the best motivator in the world? No, I'm not. Do I care enough about people to try and help? Absolutely. And that was my why. My goal was to lift 1 million people out of poverty. So I had to go back to that, because I had to get that fire back in my belly, if you like. And I think today really switched that back on for me, because if I learned anything of the experience of the project we were all in, was just how powerful, and you mentioned this, which kind of sparked me putting my hand up, was you want to do something to change the world. And I do believe the greatest asset on the planet is people. And if we could just, somebody said to me, flipping heck, 30 years ago that I can recall, he said, Paul, you might just be the match that lights the fire. So when you started talking about Lighthouse, be a beam, be a steady influence. If I'm guilty of anything in this last venture, was I cared enough about people to take the darts, to take the criticism, to take the arrows, to take, and in some cases, some downright insults, and all in the name of trying to help. And I own that. I own it. If I've made mistakes, if I've offended anybody, if I've caused anybody upset, then right now in front of this great, incredible community, I emphatically apologize, because it was never, ever my intent to hurt or harm anybody, but only to help. And for me, I'm drawing the line. Whatever happens, whatever's gone on, whatever's about to happen, the line has been drawn, and I am just so grateful, Calbs, for the leadership that you've offered, what this has done for me and my family. I will be eternally grateful for what was Hyperfund, that we all really fell in love with, because it got my daughter through cancer and through heart failure. And for those who know my story, she got a double death sentence, and both of them have now been removed. And I put that down to Hyperfund, because had I not have had plugged in, had I not have tried, had I not have tried to help and influence other people, I would never have ever got through that, Calbs. So for me, going forward, the friendships I've made, the team that we've built, and we still continue to support our team. And we're trying to just keep it going, keep that dream, keep that vision, keep it real. So for me tonight, great, Calbs. Thank you very much, my friend, and kudos to you, my friend. And just looking forward to a brighter future, and I'm enjoying the journey.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Paul. Awesome. Izzy. Hey, buddy. How are we doing?
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. I know this is an international call. First of all, thank you for doing this nuts and bolts. I think it's so important, even though we're only getting it once a week instead of twice a week. We all got used to twice a week, but once a week's enough. And I really love what you covered today. And I think, like Sue and everybody else, when you said draw the line, and I think what Paul just said now, for me, I've looked at it in a way where everything we did before was preparation for this, because how you look at it will determine how you feel, right? And through Robbins and all of that stuff, if you create an empowering meaning out of what's just happened, because I don't believe there's any accidents, right? Everybody who came into the opportunity 2.5 years ago came in with a vision. They saw something they liked. And me personally, the same thing is here. It's just more transparent. There's more dots that have been dotted and all the T's have been crossed. So it's a case of, look, just because other people can't see it doesn't mean it doesn't work. So you just got to keep on and stay plugged in, because this is important. Sometimes if you're not surrounded by people that can give you a different perspective on what's actually going on, because everything's always working. My thing is, everything's always in my favor. It doesn't matter how it looks. It may look bad, but I've got to look at it in a different way to say, hold on a second, how does this benefit me? And the fact is, it always does. We can take the last 2 years' work and think, right, what if I was to do that here? How easy does it look? 2-3 years ago, some of those figures would have been scary. Now it's a case of what? Yeah, okay. I'm not scared of those numbers. If we've done it once, we can do it again. So muchas gracias for delivering every week, and onwards and upwards, people.
100%. Thank you. Very, very beautifully put. Aaron, all the way from Trinidad and Tobago. How are you, buddy?
I am great, my brother Carpesh from another mother. Hope you guys are doing fine. Great presentation. Well, as usual, I mean, you always, have people sit back and, thinking, this may apply to me. I have been through this before. And for me, I have been thinking, some of the people that I have who even followed me with this program, and they just signed up because, I told them to and I shared it stuff. But they are still doing the same thing that they did before. Sign up and leave it, and not understanding what the goal mine that they have in front of them, what they have to do, if they only share with at least 3 persons, just share how powerful and the life-changing experience that it can have for you, because one of those 3 persons might just turn out to be a rock star, and they just sign up and not paying their business. So just to wake me up a little bit and go speak to them and keep looking. I'm gonna keep looking until I find a couple of those rock stars on my front line and keep sharing, just genuinely sharing to help people and so forth. And I was actually, interestingly enough, I was in our country, the government is doing something called an Empower Me program, where they are developing the youth men. So they have some of the people in the community reaching out to the men and talking to the young men, talking to them, mentoring them and so forth. And I was actually selected by the minister as one of the mentors for that program. And so I was invited to launch last night at one of our big hotels, and I was able to meet with a lot of ministers and connect. And I got some more. I took the opportunity to get numbers and talk to people. Just take numbers, how you doing, what it is. And then when we start the program and we go into the communities and I start sharing, I think my story would have a great effect on them, and then they will get to know who I am. And it will also grow my network even more. So, it's a great opportunity to expand a lot more. So thank you.
Awesome.
Thank you for what you have been doing, my brother.
Thank you. Congratulations on that. And thank you so much for sharing. What a great way to round up the call, ladies and gentlemen. It has been an absolute pleasure, as always, to share and to give back and hopefully add some value to help you on your journey as you become a full-time professional network marketer, and make sure the world knows it. Make sure that they know who you are, what you stand for, what you value, and why you do what you do. Stand tall, stand proud, and be loud. and be counted. So thank you once again for being amazing, for continuing to be committed to your growth, to your development. I know you didn't have to be here. I do not take it for granted ever. I don't take it lightly. The last hour was for you, and I hope you take away from it what you were supposed to take away, and you use what you can to make the next week better than the last week and continue your journey towards your pinnacle. Thank you so much. Mwah. Love you guys, and I'll see you back same time, same place, same link next week. Mwah.